Kathleen Kennedy gets desperate to save tanking Star Wars after latest Disney failures, and this time she's using the Knights of the Old Republic. So we're going to go ahead and get right into this. Welcome back to Views with Hughes, Culture and News. This is Jerome Hughes. Now let's go ahead and get right into it. All right. So it seems, Kathleen Kennedy and the powers that be are looking to pull out an old ace to go ahead and stay relevant, which is the Knights of the Old Republic. Okay, I'm not sure why they're doing this, but first off, let's talk about where, Star Wars currently stands. All right. Now, as you all know, the franchise that once dominated pop culture is no longer the juggernaut it used to be, thanks to Kathleen Kennedy. And Star Wars under her has struggled to connect with audiences, and that's putting it mildly. Okay, so look at Disney Plus viewership numbers. With shows like The Mandalorian. I mean, let's be honest. That show initially generated excitement, but even that series seems to be, losing steam as it heads toward an ending with a planned movie. And then there's also Ahsoka, Andor, and the Book of Boba Fett. They've all had mixed receptions at best. And as for The Acolyte, well, that was canceled before it could even reach a second season under Kathleen Kennedy and her leadership. Now, let's be honest, it's like they've, been trying to throw everything at the wall to see what sticks, and the wall's pretty bare at this point, okay? And that shouldn't be much of a surprise to any of us. But there's also word about Kathleen Kennedy, maybe possibly developing a series set in the Knights of the Old Republic era. Okay, now for those who are unfamiliar, like myself included, because I had to research this is a beloved time period in the Star Wars lore, mostly known through the video games Knights of the Old Republic, often called KOTOR, and the Old Republic and MMO. Now, these games hold a special place in the hearts of fans because it gives them a rich and compelling look at a galaxy far, far away, long before the Skywalker saga. But the idea of Kathleen Kennedy adapting this era into a show actually raises more questions and a lot more doubts than excitement. You see, the Old Republic is the last untouched corner of Star Wars lore that hasn't even been messed with yet. It's a time when the Sith were rampant, the Jedi were numerous but often flawed, and the galaxy was in chaos. You see, Knights of the Old Republic is fertile ground for storytelling, but can Kathleen Kennedy's Lucasfilm be trusted to do it justice? In my opinion, and answer, no. If their recent track record is anything to go by, the answer is actually a resounding no. Now, just think about the Republic initiative. You see, this was supposed to be Kathleen Kennedy's big original era, her fresh take on Star Wars lore. You see, they poured resources into books, comics, and even a planned TV series like The Acolyte, but it's already fading into obscurity. Why? Because it lacked the different elements that made Star Wars great in the first place. But instead of just, simply building on the franchise's core themes, they seem more interested in pushing certain woke agendas and creating shallow characters. The fans didn't connect with it, and the sales actually reflected that, okay? And now here we are with the talk of Knights of the Old Republic show. You see, Knights of the Old Republic has always been a beacon of hope for fans who wanted to explore a more complex and rich timeline. Heck, they even asked for Knights of the Old Republic before. Now, if they go through with it, will it be a direct adaptation of the games? Probably not. That's not how Kathleen Kennedy operates. You see, instead they'll just, likely create something loosely based on the time period, which means that they'll just simply have the freedom to go ahead and change or ignore key aspects of the story itself, as well as the characters. And that's where the danger lies. You see, when you take something beloved like Knights of the Old Republic, well, and simply twist it beyond recognition, let's just say you alienate the very people who would have supported it, okay? And that's a shame right there. And there's nothing like the classic original Star Wars. And let's not forget the merchandising of the side of things. You see, Star Wars toys used to dominate store shelves, but now they're collecting dust, okay? And retailers are reportedly cutting back on Star Wars sections because, let's be real, the demand just is not there anymore, okay? And remember when the Mandalorian came out and Baby Yoda, whose name is also Grogu, the merchandise for that flew off the shelves. I mean, that was actually a rare exception. And since then, it's been a downward spiral. Even legacy characters like Darth Vader and Yoda aren't selling as they used to, and a lot of people love them. So is Kathleen Kennedy banking on Knights of the Old Republic to go ahead and just simply save Star Wars merchandising? Yeah, good, best wishes with that. But Knights of the Old Republic might be the last chance to reignite that spark. But if it's done by Kathleen Kennedy, doubtful that's going to happen. But here's the thing. You see, Star Wars fans want stories, or wanted stories, that respect the legacy of the franchise. They want characters they can root for, villains they can fear, and a universe that feels alive and consistent. But Kathleen Kennedy and her approach has been anything but consistent. You see, they've actually mishandled the sequel trilogy, as you all remembered, sidelined beloved characters, and introduced new ones that failed to resonate. And now they're left scrambling to find something, anything that would bring fans back, okay? And just that's, many are pinning hopes to the Knights of the Old Republic, but is it enough? But what's truly baffling here is that the solution is right in front of them. Instead of just trying to go ahead and reinvent the wheel, why not just go ahead and go back to what worked? You know, why not give fans the stories that they've been asking for, what they've always wanted? Imagine the series set right after Return of the Jedi, showing us, you know, the adventures of Luke, Leia, and even Han Solo as they rebuild the galaxy. Yes, recasting would be necessary, but fans would accept it if it meant getting quality stories that honor those iconic characters. And recasting wouldn't be a bad idea at all because, as you all have seen, you know, the particular party that Mark Hamill supports, the kind of politics he has, along with Harrison Ford even hating the character of Han Solo, and, well, unfortunately, Carrie Fisher is no longer here with us. But unfortunately, Kathleen Kennedy seems uninterested in exploring this particular path. And that's not surprising at all. But as for Knights of the Old Republic, it's hard to be optimistic. You see, the games succeeded because they had compelling characters, okay? Intricate plots, as they said, and choices that made players feel like they were a part of the story. And you know what? Knights of the Old Republic demands a creative touch that actually understands its core. Okay, so adapting that into a TV show will require an understanding of what made the game special. Now, it will require creators who genuinely love and respect Star Wars. And now, does Kathleen Kennedy have those creators under her wing? Well, based on what we've seen, it's highly doubtful, okay? You see, Knights of the Old Republic should be a priority, not just a filler, okay? And also, Knights of the Old Republic isn't just, you know, another title in the Star Wars franchise. It's actually a cornerstone, if you will, of what fans love about the series. You see, Star Wars isn't just a franchise. It's a cultural phenomenon, okay? Knights of the Old Republic brought people together, you know, inspired different generations, and even created lifelong memories, okay? Now, Knights of the Old Republic shows people how great Star Wars storytelling can be when done right. But under Kathleen Kennedy's leadership, let's be real, the way Disney has handled it over the past decade has eroded that particular connection, okay? Fans who once eagerly waited new Star Wars content are now indifferent or even outright hostile to it. And that's not just bad for Disney, it's bad for everyone who loves this galaxy far, far away, okay? But let's be real, the few fans that remain are still here. You see, the passion is somewhat still here. Now, if Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm can find a way to tap into that, to actually truly listen to what the fans want, then Star Wars can honestly, or may even rise again. But it's going to take more than just throwing around beloved names like Knights of the Old Republic. You see, it's going to take a lot of commitment to storytelling, of respect for the lore, and an understanding of what made Knights of the Old Republic and Star Wars special in the first place. You see, Knights of the Old Republic is the kind of story that could revive, a lot of fan interest if handled with care. Okay, so what do you think? Is there a chance for Knights of the Old Republic to succeed? Or, is it already doomed from the start? Do you think that Kathleen Kennedy can turn Star Wars around, or are we actually witnessing the slow death of a once great franchise? Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Also, be sure to include any additional thoughts or details you might have on this particular topic. If you enjoyed what was shared in this video, go ahead and smash the like button, share the video far wide across social media. And if you haven't done so already, you enjoyed all the content that I put out there, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notifications so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. Till then, peace.